Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Jay's Down Podcast. I'm your host Jaden, and today we're going to be talking about Week 3 and a lot of good matchups we had there. We're talking about the Minnesota Vikings going on up to 3-0 this year, and how good Sam Darnold has been playing in that offense. And we'll also talk about the Dallas Cowboys and what's going on with them. And then we'll talk about Sunday Night Football, Chiefs, Falcons last night. But before we do that, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Check us out here on YouTube, and also follow us on our socials, that be Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Jay's Fifth Down Pod. Check us out there. And also make sure y'all check us out on the audio platforms, so you can listen to the podcast when you're working out or driving or whatnot. So you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Jay's Fifth Down ! And I'll put a link in the description below. I also have the link on a few of my other videos as well. But yeah, make sure you do that. And yeah, let's get started. So Week 3. It's crazy, guys. We're already at Week 3, and it's like this season's going by so fast. I really feel like college and NFL seasons are going by really quickly. So yeah, but anyway, the Vikings had a huge win over the Houston Texans yesterday, 34-7. Sam Darnold on the day, 4 touchdowns, 181 passing yards. He had a great game, 8-2 touchdown interception ratio this season. Probably by far one of the best starts he's had in his whole career. And yeah, I mean the Vikings, man, they're serious right now. And it's still early in the year, right? And we don't want to jump the gun too early. We don't want to, overexcite ourselves too early, right? But you can't discredit the fact that this team is playing really good football right now. And especially on the defensive side of football, because Brian Flores has those guys playing fast, physical, defensive, disciplined football. Like, and they're disciplining coverage. They're flying around. They know their assignments. They know where they have to be aligned, and those are foundational aspects that you want on for your defense. Those are good foundational aspects of a good pro football defense, really any defense, but especially NFL. You got to be able to assign, align, attack. 3 A's, right? A lot of coaches preach the 3 A's on the defense side of football. Assign, align, attack. Know what your assignment is, know how you're supposed to line up, and then go attack the football. And that's what this defense for the Vikings is doing. And, they may not have top 5 talent on that side of the ball, but they play like it. They play together as a unit. They're able to always generate consistent pressure on the opposing quarterbacks, and they're decent in the run game defensively. But you still could use some improvement there. But overall, I like what the Vikings are doing this year. I like how they've been playing. They beat the 49ers, beat the Giants. Well, Giants are the Giants. But the Giants did win yesterday, though, by the way. Still, though, they play good football to start the year. And that's just surprising, because we know after Kirk Cousins left to go to Atlanta, and the Vikings, like, we're in this quarterback limbo, they draft JJ McCarthy, right? He gets hurt. He's out for the season, and I hope he has a great recovery and is able to go next year. It's tough thing that happened to him there. But they're bringing Sam Darnold, who has been a journeyman ever since he left the Jets, and, made stops in Carolina and San Francisco as a backup last year. Now he's in Minnesota, and was more likely than not was going to be a backup again until, McCarthy, of course, went down, and he had to step up and start. And he's been playing really good. Like I said, 8-2 touchdown interception ratio. And, he's here's the thing about system. Like, I hate when people talk about system quarterbacks, because it's like they make it seem like it's a bad thing. And I talked about this before with Brock Purdy, because people clown him about that. Like, why is it a bad thing for a quarterback to be producing well in the system that he's playing? Like, isn't that what he's supposed to do? Like, that's what confuses me when people talk about, oh, he's a system quarterback. Every quarterback's not going to be Patrick Mahomes and, run around and like he's some like Steph Curry or some type of like magical magician just throwing passes left and right and throwing off his throwing when he's like parallel to the ground like he did in the Super Bowl that one year and all this and that. Like not every quarterback is going to be like that. Some quarterbacks, everybody's got different skill levels. Like in the real world, everybody has different skill sets. Everybody has different skill levels, and they have to, you know, they have to be in a situation that caters to what they're able to do well and efficiently. And that's how they are successful in their careers, wherever it be. In the particular world of football that we're talking about, quarterbacks that are talent, they have a skill set that it's like, hey, you know what? They're skilled at reading defense, making the right plays, whether it's the check downs or, those in routes, those 5-yard curls, wherever it may be, 10-yard curls, they don't launch the ball down the field all the time, but they're making those smart reads, making those smart plays, getting rid of the football quickly. They're decisive. They play within the offensive system that the coordinators and head coaches design for him to play in. Or, it could be a quarterback who's more skilled at running the football. It may be a quarterback that he can throw, but he's got a big frame. He's fast, like guys like Anthony Richardson or guys like Lamar Jackson or, guys like Cam Newton once was when he was playing. But the idea of like this negative connotation of a system quarterback, it's like that's been thrown around like, fairly recently. Now it's like I don't understand it, but anyway, So Sam Darnold's been playing good. The defense for Minnesota's been playing really good. I'm impressed with them, and if they keep it up, man, who knows? Like again, it's still early though. I know it's still early, and now Brian Flores has like gotten it's rumors about him getting interest as a head coach possibly after this year. But everything that happened with Tua and the whole controversy there when he was down in Miami coaching, and the whole lawsuit with the NFL. I doubt he probably gets another head coaching job, and maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he's fine being defense coordinator, and I think he's fine right there with the Vikings. So that's that. But moving on though. We'll talk about Sunday Night Football because the Chiefs and the Falcons played last night. Of course, here in Atlanta, primetime game, Patrick Mahomes' first time in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It was a big deal. I was out and about and saw a bunch of Chiefs fans walking around and stuff. So it was like, they were here. They traveled. It was, first time we had a Sunday night game, I believe, since when the Eagles came here a couple years ago in the 2019 season. And, Julio took that screen pass all the way for a touchdown. And the bench is packed out. However, the Falcons, I will say this, the Chiefs were defending 2-time Super Bowl champions, and to be fair, they haven't really blown anybody out per se this year. All their games have been close, from the Ravens game in week 1, the Bengals game week 2, and now this game. The Chiefs have not, blown anybody out the water, and they played some good defenses so far, the Falcons being one of them. However, the Chiefs just always find a way to win. And I'm not going to get into a conversation about the refs and all that and the PI play on Pitts. I'm not going to get into that because that's just going to be, I'm not going to go deep in detail into that. However you interpret that how you will. Maybe it was a missed call, but regardless of the fact, the Falcons shouldn't have been in a position in the first place. They should have scored on a couple of the drives. They were down in the red zone. There was but we could have, should have, would have all day long. The point being, they lost to the Chiefs at home. They were able to, they were able to get some turnovers off Patrick Mahomes. Well, one turnover rather. It was Justin Simmons who's picked Mahomes off a lot since he's been in the league. And overall, the Falcons couldn't really. Rashee Rice was eating them up. He had over 100 yards receiving, over 12 catches. Xavier Worthy had some big plays. Travis Kelce hasn't really broken out yet for some reason. I don't know what's going on with him. But he hasn't really been a huge factor in their offense, but I expect that to change, as we move throughout the season. I expect them to get him more involved, but he hasn't really been involved. So I don't know, maybe Taylor Swift and him are having some problems at the house or something. Who knows? But either way, this is a game the Falcons definitely could have won. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just get out talented and you get out coached. And that's just how it goes sometimes. That's the game of football. A lot of sports are like that. Sometimes you're going to get out-coached and you're going to get out-talented. Usually at the end of the day, especially now the way the game is played, the teams with the most talent, like just when everything's said and done, are the teams that are going to win because if they have the guys, they have more guys that are going to make those big plays when they need to. So I like what I saw from the Falcons offensively for the most part. They were able to. They weren't the outside zone wasn't really working that well for them, but they were still able to push the ball down the field passing against the Chiefs defense, which I was kind of surprised at. I thought the Chiefs were going to be a little bit more on that, but they were able to throw the football fairly easily against Kansas City and move up and down the field. It's just like when they lost to their offensive lineman, Drew Dahlman, the center, and Caleb McGarry, the right tackle. That's when things started to kind of go a little out of whack for Atlanta. They weren't able to do what they wanted to offensively fully. Because when you lose two starting offensive linemen, that's going to throw the synergy off of the whole line, and that's just what happened for him. So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, it could have been much worse. So, I mean, if you're the Falcons, you have to be happy that you can. I mean, now moral victories don't really exist in the NFL. I understand that. And they really shouldn't because, like, at the end of the day, you want to win football games. But if you want to go the moral victory route, you can say for Atlanta, like, hey, you know what? We held the two-time defending Super Bowl champions to 22 points. We were close with them the whole entire time. We were in the game with them. We were going toe-to-toe with them. Patrick Mahomes didn't have a super crazy day like he has against a lot of teams a lot. And so if you want to go more victories, you can go that route. But Raheem Morris and the Falcons obviously are not going that way. They're like, hey, we should have won. We should have won this football game. So they turn around and host the Saints next week here in Atlanta. And that should be interesting. The Saints lost to the Eagles. The Eagles stifled them defensively. New Orleans wasn't really able to do what they wanted to do. I will say, though, Jalen Hurts, has got to get it figured out. He played well yesterday for as far as passing yardage wise and stuff, but he's got to figure out. The offense is still there. There's something that's not right completely with the offense yet in Philadelphia. They're not. I don't feel like they're all fully on the same page. And if they want to go far, they're going to have to get there because the 2022 season when they went to the Super Bowl against Kansas City, the Eagles were they were electric offensively. And since then, it hasn't really been much like that. So they're trying to find that, trying to get that rhythm back. And I'm interested to see how they're going to do it. And they're going to do it fast. Otherwise, it's going to be a long season for them. That being said, guys, other than that, some other matchups, Ravens and the Cowboys, Baltimore went in there, they ran through Dallas again. Dallas has been getting cooked at home, on the ground game and passing, really both aspects of the offense there. And defensively, they're not playing that good right now at home. They're not playing good. They're not generating consistent pressure like they normally are. They're Mike Zimmer's got to figure it out for the Cowboys defensively because they're not getting home. They're not they cannot stop anybody on the ground right now. Like Derrick Henry gashed them and Lamar Jackson as well. So the Ravens almost did lose this game though, but they ended up holding on and winning 20-25. So both sides have a lot to take away from that game. I think Baltimore, it's good that you get your first win of the year. Now you got that good morale going in the locker room. You got that first win, but a lot for them to improve on. They got to figure out how they're letting these games kind of get away from them. So they got to stop that. But that's pretty much, my analysis so far. Giants, the New York Giants got to win, guys. The Giants beat the Browns. I'm surprised. But Malik Neighbors played really good. He's on my fantasy team, so I was really hoping he played good. He played good. Everybody played good. Daniel Jones had a great game. So I think the Giants, hopefully they can, for their sake, build off of this. And yeah, that's that's pretty much really the name of the game, guys. Like I said, that's what I want to talk about here. I will talk about the Packers on our next episode I'll be doing. That'll be a different one. But for right now, this will just be the episode for today. Thank you guys for watching or listening, whoever you're tuning into our show here on Jay's Sit Down. And we'll see you next time. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Comment your thoughts on week 3. Did your team win? Did they lose? How they play? Let me know what you think in the comments and about everything. And we'll see you next time on Jay's Fifth Down.